What? Tell us about what Tower Guns is.
Well, Tower Guns is a randomized first-person shooter, bullet hell-ish kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess bullet hell-ish is in quotes. It's basically a fast-paced, randomized, rogue light-ish kind of game. Hey, I
Right?
noticed right now on the stream you've got like a weird little bug on the side of the screen there.
Do I?
Yeah, it's like an overlay. If you go to your options menu, you can turn it off by let's see. I think that's it's a weird problem with certain GPUs. I'm not sure yet what causes it, but it's related to the motion blur, I believe. If you turn off that, it should go away.
Ooh, right, right. Motion blur. Motion blur is disabled.
Try depth of field then. Maybe that's what it is. It's one of those ones.
Depth of field. Yeah, I just disabled it. Boom.
And now if you go into the game, that should go away.
Cool.
So it's not quite as pretty when you're looking at it from far away, but it'll give you a better experience for streaming at least.
Absolutely.
That's a new bug I just found the other day. Well, that's not true. I found it and then I fixed it, but now it came back.
You fix one thing and then another old bug comes back.
Yep,
That's just gaming programming 101.
yep. That's how it is. I mean, the one thing is if you fix it on your machine, there's so many different combinations of computers out there that you can never be sure that it's going to be fixed for everybody, or if you fix it for you, maybe you broke it for somebody else. So it's a bit of a wild west.
For sure. Okay. So let's see. What other questions do we have for you? Um, First of all, the gun names. Where did you get the inspiration for the gun names?
Well, it depends on the gun.
Let's start with peas and carrots.
Well, that's like your basic thing, man. You got to have your peas and carrots. If you're going to eat the rest of the meal, you have to have your peas and carrots. Carrots. I don't know. That one I figured was the standard gun
Yeah.
that nobody was going to like, and nobody likes peas and carrots.
Hmm.
So that's where I got that name from. It levels up really fast.
I was gonna
So
say it's actually a surprisingly good gun.
yeah, it can be. It just depends on how early you are and what perk you have as well. But because of
Absolutely.
the fact it levels so fast, it definitely is worth considering.
Gotcha. I remember hearing somebody say that the hug bots were actually something your wife wanted to put into the game. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, well, sort of.
Sort of.
I mean, yeah, I come up with them in the early days of Tower Guns, maybe
Uh-huh.
18 months ago. The project took me about 18 months to make, and
Wow.
she came in while I was working on it and was like, "Those are cute," or something like that. I can't remember the exact words, but I was for a long time going to take them out or do something more sophisticated with them.
Uh huh.
But the way she responded to them kind of made me feel like I should leave them in. And people seem to be responding to them one way or the other. They're either really excited to shoot them, or they're really excited to not shoot them, and they're happy to
To
see
be
them.
hugged by them.
Yeah, to have their personal space encroached on by them, and they run up to them and just sit there.
Yeah, you did a really good job of making me feel guilty when I kill the hug bots.
They
Not-
are pretty cute.
I was gonna say, I think you should seriously consider making little vinyl figures of the hug bots, because I will buy all of them.
Making vinyl figures is expensive, I think.
Is it?
I don't know. A lot of the swag stuff is more expensive than you'd realize, and I think it's for a small time developer like me. It's much more out of the question
Right.
than if I overnight were to become a much bigger game than I am, or have a bigger crowd of players and fans than I do. Then maybe potentially, but probably not with the size of a fan base I have right now, unfortunately.
Well, we have to fix that then.
Right. Yes.
So I tell everybody to play this game because it's amazing.
Thank you so much, man. Oh, also, it is still on sale on Steam. It was going to go off a sale, and it's still on sale for another day and a half or so. Steam extended the sale because Total Biscuit did a video of it earlier today.
Yes.
So
So I hope that helps for you.
I hope so
Since
too.
TB, can make huge changes in the gaming industry by just being angry.
Well, he didn't hate Tower of Guns as much as I thought he would.
Hey, that's huge.
Yeah, I thought because he's generally not a roguelite fan, or roguelike or whatever you want to call the genre, he's generally not a fan of these kinds of games.
Right.
I kind of feel like I dodged a bullet with the review that he gave me.
Nice.
Yeah, I was talking about on Twitter earlier today. I was like, I feel like you should print like "I Survived TB" T-shirts or something.
I was not. TD was not mean to me.
Right. I survived. I survived Total Biscuit.
A
I
TD
climbed this
review.
mountain or whatever. But yeah,
wow.
he responded pretty favorably to it, so I can't complain.
Excellent. So, let's see. What other questions do we have for you? Artistic design. Where'd you get your inspiration for just the entire feeling for Tower of Guns?
Well, man, so the entire game. This is gonna sound kind of probably like not the way you're supposed to design games, but I didn't think of the look I wanted first. I thought of what I knew I could build quick, because I knew I wanted to build something on my own. I don't know if you know very much about the story of how I started Tower of Guns at all. Or
No, I do not. Please share.
Okay, well, I was working in large AAA studios.
Really?
This time 2 years ago, I was working for 38 Studios. I don't know if you're familiar with that studio, but it was a large MMO studio, the one put together by Kurt Schilling. We were making a big MMO.
Right.
We put out Reckoning, an action RPG. But then, due to a whole bunch of issues that I don't fully understand because I was just in the trenches, there was a lot of basically huge, very public implosion of the company.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that happens.
It does. This one was very, very public because it involved a lot of because it involved a state loan.
Really?
Because it involved Rhode Island public funds. I guess you had to disclose everything as it was happening. And I kind of, there was some shifty stuff going on. I think on Rhode Island's part, I kind of feel like they wanted to sabotage us. The governor did, but that's my own personal opinion. I don't actually know if that's true or not.
I'd be willing to investigate that.
Well, it just kind of felt like he always had it out for us because he
hates them video games.
Yeah, well, I think he just he hated the deal for whatever reasons. He inherited the deal from the previous governor, and then the governor switched over, and I think he kind of wanted to say, "I told you so." I don't know. Anyway, though, that's kind of an aside, and I really can't say I'm all that in the know, even though I was working there.
Right.
I don't know very much detail-wise about that stuff. However, when that studio closed down, 300 people lost their jobs overnight. More than that even. And so after having seen, I had been working at that studio for 5 years, and after that studio closing up overnight, I kind of got this mental image of all the work I'd done during those 5 years being put into a box and being put into a warehouse, like Indiana Jones style, just being stuck in the corner, and that is a terrible feeling.
For sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to feel that again, and so I decided I was going to try and go the indie route. And because I had been working with such a large team on a project that was meant for hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, if not millions of concurrent players, I wanted to take kind of a more intimate approach and make one game, or make a single player game for one player made by one person.
Right.
And I wanted to see how far I could go with that. So to answer your original question, every aesthetic decision I took in the game, I made because I knew I could do it quickly on my own.
So it's more for a simplicity's sake.
Simplicity's sake, or because it played up what I knew I had strength-wise from my years in the industry and downplayed the stuff I knew that I was deficient in. So the design is very abstract, and it's very, very. People have said it's very Borderlands-y. I feel like the game doesn't look nearly as good as Borderlands. But
I think they're just noticing the shell shaded feel for it.
Yeah, it's basically the line work drawn on the textures, and while it's a similar trick to what Borderlands did, I feel like it's, again, I made that decision because of how quickly it was.
Exactly.
Hey, you just found a gun.
I did. Actually, that's the funny thing that I am finding about Tower of Guns is every single playthrough, I keep finding something new.
That's good.
I keep finding a different room, a new secret, a new perk, power up. I keep finding new things, and it's crazy.
I'm glad to hear that, man. I hope that other players are experiencing that same kind of progression. I wanted it to be the kind of game where you didn't feel like you'd seen everything until you had played it for at least as long as you play other single-player first-person shooters.
Absolutely.
So
well, that's successful on your route.
I don't know how many hours you clocked in it, but if you clocked in more than 10 or 12, then I'll feel like I hit my mission.
I have probably put in about 7 hours, I think.
7? Okay.
A decent amount.
Still find new stuff.
Well, I still haven't beaten the game yet.
good.
I was
Yep.
trying my damnedest to beat the game before this interview, but I couldn't do it. This game
Well-
it gets so ridiculously hard.
It does get pretty hard, yeah. But I think that you'll find that there's certain things. The more lives you play, I try and make it so that you have a couple of opportunities to have easier runs along the way.
Like, say, for example, Cake Town?
Maybe.
What was your inspiration for adding Cake Town?
It just seemed like it'd be something fun. I felt like after 10 runs, I felt like you were going to be fatigued, and you'd be like, oh, okay, replay the same loadout again, and then to have that come in, people be like, wait, maybe I don't know everything about this game.
Right.
Which is kind of, I feel like there's not enough of that in games, like surprising the player. There's a lot of like surprising players in ways players are expecting, but not in ways like Cake Town, which kind of breaks the story lore. It breaks what you know about the game.
Breaks the tension.
It breaks tension, but I feel like it's still kind of fun because you don't get it every time. It's kind of
Absolutely.
yeah. I feel like it's something different, and I feel like honestly, I credit that level to the. I feel like that's the reason Total Biscuit wasn't too hard on me. I feel like he rolled Cape Town, and he was like, maybe I haven't seen everything yet. Oh wow, you got a vampire mod on that gun.
I'm very happy right now.
Yeah.
Very happy. So, what would you say this weapon is? Is it a saxophone?
That is the shrapnel trumpet.
The shrapnel trumpet.
Is that the final name? I can't remember. That thing had like 4 or 5 different names. It had like the bugle blunderbuss at one point. Well,
I like that.
I think shrapnel turret was the one they ended up with, though. No, anyway. Hey, Fedora Gamer just came in.
Absolutely. I believe Fedora Gamer did a special for your game on one of his videos.
He did. He also had me on a stream a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was like a month ago. Dude, I don't know. Time has gone by very fast in a couple of weeks.
Time is moving for you.
Anyway, the art style is, to go back to that, it is Borderlands-y, and I recognize that, but to my credit, Borderlands didn't do it first. I think I saw that style in Afro Samurai beforehand.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a new concept. It's just Borderlands just is the most popular.
Oh, they definitely do it the best too. They by far.
Yeah,
they pull it off the best.
Super. They never really put out a bad game, or a Borderlands game, or a Borderlands DLC rather.
I actually have owned the second one for a year now, and I've never gotten to try it.
I've logged maybe 5 hours into it. I just haven't really dedicated the time to sit down and play through it all.
Really? I've heard it's just like the first one, more refined. So it's like everything I wanted from a Borderlands game, because the first one felt like an experiment rather than a full game.
Yeah, and I feel like it was kind of an experiment.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could kind of tell. I think that studio was going through all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
Fedora, yes, that is one of the findable weapons. Hey, Spoon's there too. That's one of my old coworkers from 38, I think.
Really?
That's the same Spoon.
Well, welcome
Yeah,
to the stream.
Sure. We'll see if he replies to the chat once things catch up. But if that's the same Spoon, then he is a fantastic rock climber and also a very good programmer.
A programmer and a rock climber?
Yes.
That's an interesting combination.
Well, we had a lot of them at 38, actually. We got a bunch of developers into rock climbing, and actually, it was a very bizarrely fit studio. A bunch of people would play Frisbee during lunches. A bunch of people would play like football occasionally. It was very bizarrely
Just completely breaking the cliche of the computer programmer.
Yeah, and I think part of that is actually having to do with the fact that Kurt, one of the founders of the company, was a former baseball player.
That can definitely change the environment of the studio.
Yeah, he prioritized making sure that we were keeping active and not sitting in front of our computer 24/7.
It's just for their general health.
Yeah, or maybe he even didn't prioritize. Maybe it was just him being an athlete rubbed off on the rest of us. I don't know.
That's also possible. Mama Spinbot. So let's talk about bosses. Where are you getting the design choices for your bosses?
To be honest, I just started throwing together things in the 3D app, and it kind of would make a shape, and I'd be like, that could be an interesting boss if I throw saw blades on it. In some cases, I would take something that was more elaborate, an elaborate version of something I already had. Like Mama Spinbot is kind of a bigger version of the regular Spinbots.
Right.
But hey, Mega Pieman's in here too. You got like all these YouTubers in here, man.
Woo! Welcome, people. I'm trying not to watch how many people are actually watching right now to prevent me from freaking out.
There are 13 right now.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
No. But I see you're on the road to 100 followers. Are you getting close to 100?
Currently we are at 71. Last I checked, it could be more, it could be less.
That's pretty close. You're getting up there.
Getting there. I'm setting small milestones, so I don't get disheartened.
Did you roll Lava Spinbot 3 times in a row?
I think that is definitely not the first time I've hit Mama Spinbot in this playthrough.
In this run?
Yeah.
I wasn't actually paying attention on the other bosses, but it looks like Geo Balejur. Can't even read that.
It's a bit of a commute. Just call him Geo.
Let's say. He was just saying that looks like he's rolled that 3 times.
That could be correct.
Which isn't optimal. I feel like Tower of Guns is kind of an experiment in a lot of ways too. It's like there's a lot of things I could have done, and maybe someday still will do. But in a lot of ways, it was like experimenting with like, is this formula even fun? And
well, I can answer that. It is fun.
That's good.
So confirmed.
There's only so much you can do as a single developer who doesn't know what they're doing yet because they're fighting with picking up a new scripting language, which I was, or learning a whole ton about marketing.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the best marketing tip I can give you is that if you name your game Tower anything, people are probably going to think it's a tower defense game, and it might not be the wisest of ideas.
That checks out. Yeah, that makes that makes a lot of sense.
So I actually really like the name. I think it's stupid enough, and it fits the silliness of the game itself. But it might not have been the best decision from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, once you play it, it completely makes sense. And if somebody were to explain to you how the game operates, it completely makes sense. I guess I could see where they're coming from.
I think that who was it? There was an article that came out earlier today. I think it was Polygon. It was yesterday, and they said that they felt like this was a contender for most accurate name title ever, 2014. So I will trumpet that. If they give me that award, I will ask them at the end of the year if there have been any other contenders.
I mean, it works, and
most accurately named game. It sounds like an award to me.
I would say so. Where'd you get the design choice for these motivational cubes?
I think
and
I
how
made them on accident, actually.
On accident, really?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I turned into mechanics, I originally made on accident, and I had a lot of fun messing around with. I decided it might be fun to keep them. In particular, those cubes are a little bit tricky because if you jump when you're going
very finicky.
Them, so you have to like not jump when you're going through those cubes, and a lot of people get messed up by that.
It is difficult to do.
They're a little tricky to get the hang of, but if you're already, by the time you get to logistics, like I don't make you use those cubes ever until you get to logistics. So if you've gotten this far, you should be a little bit more.
Should have an idea, yeah.
Yeah. So like when you're going through that thing, don't jump, and you'll get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like a dummy. Wow! Oh shit! No!
I can hear you, but the stream hasn't caught up yet to whatever you're doing.
You'll see. You'll see. I may be dead. I may be dead. No! Oh, I'm dead. This game gets you. It gets you. Oh, okay. Let's see here. What next? What next? The story of Tower of Guns. You want to tell us what the story of how the story of the Tower of Guns was birthed?
You mean the development story, the one that I told you about 38, or you mean the actual in-game story?
The actual in-game story.
Well, what's the best way to say this? The story. The best way. Actually, no. I don't want to say very much about the story.
Okay, that sounds okay. It's a spoiler. Got it.
Well, it's not necessarily a spoiler. It's just that the real story is always coming next.
Interesting.
That's like a gimmick that maybe the real story is next.
Interesting.
When you're playing through all these little randomized stories.
I like it.
A couple of people have kind of called out on the fact that I'm kind of making a commentary on how inconsequential stories are in most video games.
Okay.
Because the story is kind of slapped on randomly each time.
Right.
But at the same time, well, yeah, I had an idea in the beginning, but I kind of feel like what I ended up with is actually something different, and I like it better anyway. So
Sounds good to me.
rather than stuttering more, I'll just say that.
So it's almost like a parody in that sense. Possibly?
I don't even know. It's just weird. People who describe it as weird are probably, yeah, it's pretty accurate. But in terms of like the actual story itself, it's always you and the tower, and the conceit behind why you have to climb this tower is different every time. And I wanted it to feel like you had basically an excuse to play the game. Because I mean, I don't feel like if a game is inherently fun, or if the gameplay itself is enough of a pull, your motivation should be simply to play the game,
Right.
rather than to have to figure out what's going to happen to the princess, or rather than figure out what's going to happen to that nameless space marine or whatever.
Like throwing back to the days of Doom. Like, we really don't care about the story too much. We don't care what we're doing. We just know we're shooting baddies.
Right, and it was fun. And I mean, I appreciate the fact that we've gone and we've focused a lot on story in the last couple of years, but I feel like even the best examples of story that we have in the industry are still pretty rubbish when you look at
In
them.
comparison to major literature, yeah.
Right, in comparison to literature, in comparison to Paramount movies, you know. Is Paramount the right word? Probably not.
It's good enough.
Right. But I feel like in games we haven't quite figured out how to tell the stories. I think we're getting a lot better now
Oh, for sure.
in the last couple of years.
The video games have definitely made a pretty big advancement in just general respect, I would say. When video game soundtracks are potentially up for like Emmys, or was it Emmys? Is it what's the award for music?
The award for music is Grammys.
Grammys. When some of
Emmys
the
is TV.
yeah, oh, that's right. Okay, well, when some video game music is put up for Grammy nominations, that says something.
Yeah, that's just music, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you found a secret.
I did find a secret. So, on that note, would you say the adding secret rooms kind of be a throwback to old first-person shooters?
Yeah, I feel like those were fun. They were nice little rewards, but also there's actually a mechanical reason behind that too, because the game is pretty hard when you're first playing. That's because you don't know where all these little potential bonus areas are. The secrets themselves never change, so as you're playing the game more, you kind of learn where the secrets are, and even though you may randomly get a different room, whether or not you have access to those secrets, like the more you play the game, the more you'll kind of know, like, okay, in this room there's a secret here, I'll be able to get bonus if I go get it. It actually starts making the game better, which I think that's one of the most important aspects of the roguelite genre, is that the more you play the game, the better you get at it because you learn the rules.
Exactly.
In Tower Guns, where the secrets are, it's kind of a cheap rule, but it is one of the rules.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things you just can't purchase some power-ups if you don't have enough gold, and the only way to really get a for sure enough amount of gold in a playthrough is to find enough secret rooms.
Well, you can. It depends on how lucky you are with the drops. But
Yeah, which is why I generally pick up the luck perk.
All you've gotten has been Mama Spinbot. You are having a really bizarre. You're having really bizarre luck here. That's 4 for 4.
I have. I've been. Let's see what happens if with this next boss if it's Mama Spinbot.
Okay.
And if it is, then I have no idea what to say to that. Nothing happened. There was a random badge that gave me nothing.
Oh, that's good though. Actually, this could have been bad.
Good and bad?
The random badge could be good, bad, or nothing. And getting nothing is at least neutral.
At least I didn't lose armor or damage. Or any of the
jumps.
other.
Jump
or
is the
jumps.
worst one, I think.
Oh God, really?
Jump, right? Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to your players?
That was kind of I've been regretting that one actually.
No, I would say keep it.
The jump height one, it's a really sucky one to get. You can still beat every room even with a jump minus, and I only make it so that if you got 2 jump minuses in a row, it doesn't stack the jump minuses.
Okay, that's good.
So there is a minimum jump that you
That
can
is
get.
good to know.
unlike jump height, which I let go forever if you get jump height ups. Not forever, but pretty far. But yeah, I wanted there to be something that was like a serious risk, and that's the serious risk behind those things. But you got to wonder if it's a good idea.
Like, it's a good idea to even take the risk. Yeah.
What was that?
It's a good if it's a good idea to even take the risk during a run.
Yeah, it's like if people don't want to take the risk because the chances of that are so high, or because it makes the game so incredibly unenjoyable. Like, that's why I've been kind of regretting it. That it's generally not a good idea to make your game willingly less enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm learning as a designer. I'm still learning.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it as personally a bad choice.
It used to be a lot worse. Now,
really?
Now it doesn't spawn as nearly as often. Like if Mega Pie Man is still in there, he can tell you he's been playing. He played the beta quite a bit, and it used to be that you would get negative effects from those random badges maybe 80% of the time. Now it's more like 40 or 45. Maybe
I was gonna say the percentage is pretty even.
It's right now. It's at the point. Yeah, I think it's pretty even. But if you have even one luck increase, it's like almost always going to be a good thing.
Which is why I generally run with the luck perk. I just feel like I have better runs with it.
Well, you do. You absolutely do. You start getting tons and tons of power-ups. Like, the longer you have good luck, the more likely it is to compound into even better luck. Especially if you're doing an endless run.
Ooh.
Then
I'm not proficient enough yet to really do a successful endless run.
Well, I don't know how far my record is with build version 1, but there are some people. Like, I think my record before was version 0.78 was the last time I had a really good endless run. I think my best was 12 or 13. But there are some people in the TOG community who, in that version, were pulling like rooms like level 50, floor 50 or floor 60.
Good God.
I scaled the difficulty a little bit more, so you can't go as absurd, but still, you know, if you can get to floor 20 in endless now, that's incredible. That's an incredible run.
You're a star.
Yeah, I think that in version 1 with the newly scaled difficulty of it, I had the feeling I would only be able to get to floor 10 or so myself, unless I had a really lucky run and I found a ton of stuff. You probably don't want that badge.
Yeah, I grabbed it.
I know there's a delay. Me saying something now doesn't really help you playing.
Oh, it's definitely, this is probably the first experience I've ever had when I'm playing a game with the developer watching. I'll say that much. It's interesting.
Yeah.
How is it on your end? Is it like watching somebody watch your kid type situation, especially since it was pretty much all you?
No, because, well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. It kind of feels like when somebody's reading your, like, what's the best way to describe it? I don't know if you've ever taken like a creative writing course where
Definitely,
they go exercise where you write something, but then somebody else reads it out loud to the class, not you. It kind of, I guess, feels kind of like that, where someone else is playing through it, and you can see they've got the timing right, they know what they're doing, but sometimes the delivery is like not what you expect, and so you're like, wait, why are you going that way? And I mean, it makes sense because everybody is gonna take their own path through a game, but you know, like what are you doing up there in the corner there? Kind of question comes up a lot in my mind. It's exciting. It really is fun because people find things I would never have expected, and the way that Tower of Guns is built, there's a lot of crazy random stuff that can happen.
Shit! No! Okay. Oh well, I'm able to die. That's me dead.
Were you at the boss?
It wasn't Mama Spinbot.
Oh well, that's good.
Yep.
Who was it?
It was something Globe. I think it was something Globe.
Oh, the Snow Globe Brothers, I bet.
Nah, there's no.
Star Shimmer says, you're saying, DevMan, that you can jump an entire room in one jump? You can. There's actually lots of ways you can avoid the ground if you wanted to in Tower of Guns, not just jumps. But I won't talk too much more about that. I'll leave that one open.
For discovery.
Right.
I'm noticing the Egon's Pride. And I notice it says Mordaka.
Yep.
By any chance, are you a fan of Warhammer 40k?
No, but I always wanted to be.
You
This is
always
gonna
wanted.
sound really strange. I really wanted to be a fan of Warhammer 40K
Mm-hmm.
when I was growing up, but one, I never had any friends who played it, and two, I could never afford the figurines.
Well,
And by the time decent video games started coming out on systems that I had,
Mhm.
I was already too far down the first-person shooter route. So,
Right.
I guess there was a Warhammer 40K first-person shooter that came out at one point, but I never tried it. But
Yeah, back in the day
I
there
always
was.
wanted to. I loved the miniatures, and I would like go to the Games Workshop in the mall and just look at the painted miniatures.
It's so fun.
And I tried it once. I picked up one and I picked up some basic paints, and it was terrible. Like I had a terrible time actually getting the paint to stick. I had no patience for actually letting it dry in between each step. And
Right.
it was a
Well,
pretty awful looking thing, and I had just wasted. It was something like it was only like $8 or $9 for the figure, and the paints are maybe an additional 4 or 5. But when you're like 12, that's like all of your money. And so I was a little bit burned on painting figurines, and I never did it again.
kind of spoiled it.
Yeah,
Ah.
but I always wanted to get into it because of how cool it looked, because the
Right.
figures were so awesome looking.
Yeah, the execution for it. I mean, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic game. But I agree. If you don't have friends who play it, you're just collecting a hobby.
Well, the same thing happened with Dungeons and Dragons. I never got into that because I never like my friends. They weren't very cool. They were as well. Not well. That sounds terrible.
My friends sucked.
They were as cool as I was. We were definitely dorky in our own ways.
Mm-hmm.
My group of friends, but none of them were dorky in the same way I was. Where I was kind of interested in Warhammer, and I was kind of interested in Dungeons and Dragons, and I was kind of interested in those kinds of leanings of nerddom. But my friends were more interested in playing cards, like spades or hearts or poker or whatever.
Huh.
Or I don't even remember, or playing Mario Kart, or like we were nerdy in our own ways, but none of them got into Warhammer with me. I convinced a couple of them to play HeroQuest once, and that was a lot of fun.
I love Hero Quest.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game. I used to love any game I could find that had like a level editor, and that was a board game, but it had like its own little like pen and paper level editor in it. And that kind of thing would keep me busy for hours.
It's still fun to pick that thing up.
Yeah, I haven't played it in years, but I've got the box right in front of me. I can see it right here in front of me.
I just fell to my death.
Oh, were you at a boss that time?
No. There was a secret I wanted, and I didn't realize how much damage the full damage would be, so that kind of screwed me. I'm good.
Is it bad that the game dev says D&D? My first thought is, oh, I'm running a game of Pathfinder. So, like, instead of getting into D&D, I got into, like, Lone Wolf. Did you ever play that?
Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf was, like, kind of like a choose-your-own adventure on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically a game book with choose-your-own adventure style passages, and then a solo player D&D campaign on top of that. Not really a D&D campaign as much as the mechanics of like the combat and stuff and the item collection and stuff. It was very simplified,
Okay.
but it was something you could play on your own. It was like each game book was its own, each like novel-ish kind of thing was its own experience, and I had a lot of fun with those.
That actually sounds really cool.
It was very awesome. They've got them all online now. They Project Aeon, I think, is the site. They've even released a couple of guys, like the fans for that are crazy. They've released like ebook versions of it, because the writer put it in the public domain in like 2000.
That is so cool.
Someone made like a Nintendo DS version of it. But they were pretty cool. Lone Wolf books were pretty awesome, and it's like I had to like settle for like single player fantasy RPG experiences.
Because your friends just weren't your kind of nerdy.
Nope.
It's a shame. Let's see. So
Was the I like that this guy calls me Deathman. I should just change my Twitter name to Deathman.
Deathman.
Were the Hugbots actually my wife's idea, or was that just a joke? They weren't my wife's idea, but keeping them was. Like, she was the one who was like, you need to keep these because I like them. So I did. And she's been the primary producer and primary what's the word, person encouraging me to keep on down this path of game development. So if she wants to make a minor request like that, I'm not one to deny it.
I fully support that.
Plus, I think she was onto something because people seem to really be responding to.
They're so well received.
Even if you hate them, they're still like people are still responding.
You either love to shoot them or you hate to shoot them because you love them so much.
I will say though that if you shoot the Hugbots, they give you stuff.
Yeah.
And that can be good, but not everything about shooting the Hugbot is good. That's all.
Really?
Yes, there are consequences.
Interesting.
Um,
I'm very interested.
Wife as producer sounds familiar. As long as she crochets one, she actually. I just retweeted. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I'm @blankslatejoe. I just retweeted a crocheted Hugbot earlier tonight.
Huh.
I will tell her, Scoon, that you said that the crocheted one looks amazing. I think it came out pretty cool. She's still like refining the pattern, but I think it's pretty fun.
Oh, there's a pattern for a Hugbot?
Well, I mean, like the crochet pattern that she's been working off of and making.
Very cool. I'll have to check that out.
That's what I think what crocheting. I guess that's what they call those like templates for. I don't know, patterns. I'm not a crocheter.
Neither am I.
But
I would be willing to make one.
Are you about to roll Mama Spinbot again? You are.
I did roll Mama Spinbot again. Maybe there's something. There might be something with the way it's rolling in the code.
No, well, Unreal's random number generator is a little bit funny in that it likes, I don't know what it bases it off of, but it likes to get stuck in a pattern of like picking the same number over and over and over again. And the second you think that something is broken and you go to look, it switches and it's okay.
Well, I do notice that. So what I've noticed actually is I'll start running into patterns during playthroughs. So say, for example, I pick the same gun, and I run with the same gun. The levels will be kind of similar, and even the boss rotation will be very similar. But then if I close the game and then open it back up, the rotation will be different.
Yeah, I think that I suspect that the UDK random number generator is based off of memory.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, this is where things get a little bit fuzzy here, but I suspect that when you're closing the game, it's like reallocating memory and deciding a new seed value for its random number generator.
Very cool.
I don't know. Scoon's a real programmer, and he's in the chat, and he could tell me what I'm doing, what I'm saying or misspeaking here. I'm only a scripter, but
I mean, that makes sense.
I'll probably tell you if there's any kind of credence to that theory or not. I've been kind of thinking about it, and I've got like a theory about how Unreal's random number generator works or doesn't work.
Oh god, this room. No. Oh, these Mission Impossible robot laser things. Hello?
Hello, what's up?
Okay. You kind of faded out there for a second.
Oh, sorry about that. I went away from my microphone.
Not a problem. I do that all the time.
Spoon just asked, how am I seeding or am I not seeding the random number generator? I am not seeding it how I should be. I'll tell you that right now. Given the fact that this was kind of an 18-month long like marathon to get this thing out, I was like scrambling. I wasn't too concerned about that, but it's the kind of detail that I think I would need to investigate if I want to make a sequel, you know?
Oh, so there's...
Because I feel like being able to do seeded runs or being able to control the randomization with a little bit more, like being able to change the randomization behavior based off of things you've done,
right,
I think would be pretty cool. And I don't do very much of that right now. And I certainly don't do as much as people think that I do.
Well, it came out well. So would you say, is there any like plans for bigger like DLC or big patches, added content, anything like that possibly in the future for you?
Well, I'm going to start off with adding a couple of bug fixes.
Mm-hmm.
There's been things that people have found since I released version 1.0 that I wasn't aware of previously. So I feel like I owe it to them to take a stab at fixing some of that stuff.
Very good.
And then after that, I don't know. Part of it depends on how well the game does. And part of it depends on what shakes loose at a GDC, because that's a busy conference that I have in front of me.
Very
and
cool.
how I feel after that.
Awesome.
TOG community is interested in playing the game more and longer, I would like to add more stuff, or maybe refine what's here a little bit, or potentially work on a follow-up. I do know that when I work on a follow-up, I would probably want to do something that looks a little bit more carefully made, I guess.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Sorry.
I would want to spend more time on the actual artwork, because this, in order to make the game as large as I did, I had to take I had to make a lot of very corner-cutting steps, I guess you'd call them. And I was able to do it, but I look at it, and the artist in me is like, sees all these corners and is just like crying in pain. It's like the artist in me wants to make something that's smaller in scope so it can be prettier. Oh, let's see. There's a whole bunch of comments. Deadman, will you add more crazy arse guns? Yes, I would like to.
Oh, sweet.
I would really like to add more guns. Maybe not all of them will be as crazy, because I'd like to actually increase the drop rate of guns slightly. Because that was one of the things that Total Biscuit actually commented on, was the drop rate of guns seems so low. And that's partially is because of the fact that those guns are so crazy. Like the shrapnel turret is a pretty crazy gun, especially when you level it up. So I may have to do some thinking about how I want to add in more guns, but I'd like to. Oh, Joe, how have you been enjoying the new Thief game now that Fog is out? Megapie, man, I haven't even gotten to install it yet. My brother bought it for me as a gift, and I haven't even gotten to play it yet. That was kind of a running gag, was that I wanted to finish Thief. I wanted to finish Tower Guns before the new Thief game came out, so I could play the Thief game. And then I haven't even played it yet.
I'm sorry. So are you taking a little? Is your time opened up a little bit more now that Tower of Guns is out?
I thought it would, but no, it hasn't. I've been actually doing a lot of customer support lately, the last couple of weeks, and helping people get the game running, and trying my best to kind of like figure out fixes for people, and then doing bug fixes and marketing and stuff.
Gotcha.
It's been pretty busy. It's too soon to tell, but did the TV video cause a good bump in sales? I'm not sure. It did bump me up on the Steam list a few slots for a little while, but now it looks like it's gone back down. Sorry, I'm like answering questions from your Twitter.
No, go, absolutely go for it. I'm trying to focus on not dying.
So you're about to roll another boss, then it looks like.
Oh God! Where is it? There it is. I lost sight of where the guns were shooting me from. Sometimes this game just makes you feel like a big dummy.
Is that good or bad?
Oh, it's good.
Minus.
Mm-hmm.
So you should still, even when you get that, every room is still beatable, but it does make it significantly harder.
But even with running with the first perk for the triple jump, it's not a huge loss.
No, it isn't, because I mean, the triple jump still gives you quite a big advantage.
Oh yeah. I've got to remember not to kill Hugbots and see what happens.
You got not killing Hugbots is a long haul game, or a long, what do you call that?
Is it the long con?
Not really a long con. I don't know what you would call it. The payoff is a slow payoff. Don't get it for a while.
I see. Ow, God, the spike balls.
It does affect your ranking too. Nobody actually looks at their ranking in the collection menu, but killing Hugbots or not killing them affects your ranking.
Mama's a spin bot again.
That's 4 for 5 now.
I think we've confirmed the theory here.
I think we should start a betting pool with the people in the chat.
I think that's a good idea. I don't know what we'd be betting.
I don't know either.
Swag points.
Hey, you know what I can do in the chat? I haven't done this to any chat before. Other people have done it to chats, but if I go over to this real quick.
Oh God! Spinbot is not easy in this room with the Hedgehog.
Hedgehog is a tough gun to fight. Or sorry, man, I'm not speaking right. Is a tough gun to fight with.
It's wily. But I think I got it maxed out on one run. I maxed out the Hedgehog, And then I think I got the weapon mod for explosions. And so it just destroyed everything mercilessly. It made for some interesting runs. So I basically just I blew through rooms, no problem.
With the explosive mod?
With the explosive hedgehog, yeah. Oh no, don't kill them. Let's go for hugs.
The hedgehog is a weird gun because people either really like it or really hate it.
I really enjoy it.
I think it's pretty fun too, especially when you start powering it up. But like, I've just seen a couple of feedback, the occasional video or comment, and it's always like very polarized. Like, I hate that gun. I can't stand that gun.
The gun is stupid. I guess that could say something about their gaming background. Because if you play something like some classic shooters or even like the Tribes games, guns like this are pretty easy to pick up skill-wise.
Anything that has kind of a lob arc to it?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's pretty easy to pick up. But if you're more used to traditional modern shooters where it's, you know, iron sights and Call of Duty, blah, 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 it might be a little bit more difficult to pick up.
Well, I kind of felt like it was a little bit similar to the grenade launcher from Quake.
Yes, a lot of this game feels like Quake.
That's not a bad thing. That is
not at all.
All right, so if you give me 1 second,
sure, absolutely,
I can do something cool. I think.
Okay, we'll wait.
Maybe. Well, you can still play. I just I'm gonna get distracted here for a second.
Not a problem. I'm just doing my thing. How's chat doing? Everybody okay in chat? Anything with a seeker is nice. Yes, that was I picked up the seeker with the hedgehog, and it kind of... It worked, but it kind of didn't work the way you would expect it to.
What do you mean, if you pick up a seeker with a hedgehog?
Well, I mean, like, when you pick up the seeker with the hedgehog, you would, like, imagine that the spiked balls are going to do kind of a tracking shot, but it was more that if you pointed in the general direction, they would kind of concentrate tighter on the target.
Oh, a seeker, not a secret.
Yeah,
I got
the seeker, yeah, the seeker. Sorry.
I misheard what you were saying.
I probably missaid it.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird because it's like once the gravity takes over, I think the seeking aspect of it doesn't take as much of effect.
Right.
Okay, chat. There. Now I just posted a key for if there's anyone in the chat who does not own the game, then they can redeem that key.
Go, go, go!
That took me a long time because I had to like go find my Twitch password.
Ooh.
Because I haven't logged into Twitch in a long time.
Well, I did see people in chat who really wanted to play this game, so that should be good. Oh my god, there's so many bombs! Oh god.
Of course, that means I've like lost the chat now because it like re-logged me in.
Oh, did it?
So now I missed any questions that happened to be there beforehand. Like
it was for the most part just kind of just everybody saying they're doing good and whatnot.
Hi, chat.
Oh man.
I cannot help Magic Robot Monkey get a copy of Windows.
I'm sure there's somebody who could help him. It's not hard to get a copy of the operating system. Just got to know a guy.
So this the Mega Pie Man YouTuber who's in your chat right now is going to do 3,000 runs.
3,000 runs? That's
what his YouTube channel is suggesting. He's on like run 5 or 6, I think.
Lord.
I'm not sure. It's pretty crazy.
Huh. I should probably get in on that too. Mega Pie Man.
He's trying to get to 3,000 runs.
Yeah, go for it. Mega Pie Man, drop a link for your YouTube channel.
Can he post links?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sometimes people block that, you know.
I do not. I'm at that point right now where my channel is small, so it's kind of you can get away with a lot of that because obviously it's not going to get crazy at this point in time. So go for it.
Deadman. You should make. I really like that Deadman title. I should just change my official title to Deadman.
Do it.
You should make a secret gun no one knows about for doing something like not killing Hugbots for the entire game. What makes you think that doesn't already exist?
Good God, there's so much blue experience! So I'm noticing, I'm trying to figure out, I'm still a little confused on...
Geophilazur. What was that?
I'm sorry, what were we going to say?
I just said you're welcome to Geophilazur for saying thank you.
Oh.
You were saying you're still trying to figure out what?
The spike balls when you hit level 5, what exactly is it that they're doing? Are they on fire?
They're glowing.
They're just glowing? Glowing with raw power?
Wait till you see. Oh, they kind of get like sickly looking, don't they?
They do. It gets... Okay, thank God it's just one lantern.
Wow, dude, there's a ton of those purple ball launchers up there. I didn't know that configuration could spawn.
You're learning new stuff about your game.
That...
It's like watching your baby grow up.
Yeah, well, like, see, that's the kind of thing that I thought that I had fixed many versions ago. The fact that those guys shouldn't be able to spawn with like 9 of them in a row like that. And on one hand, it's kind of sad to see them still there because I thought I fixed it. But the other hand, it didn't give you any trouble anymore, so maybe it's no longer an issue.
Yeah, I would say it's much of a problem. I mean, they can get pretty nasty. Ooh, the TNT bonus. Or weapon mod. That'll be fun. It can get a little bit wily when a lot of those purple balls are chasing you, but
yeah,
I mean,
there weren't supposed to be like 8 or 9 of them in a row. I thought I had gone and called all the instances out where I had spawn camps like that.
I mean, it's not too bad. But my rule of thumb for this game is to just keep moving, and that seems to work.
That's kind of, I mean, that's kind of the old school way of thinking, you know?
And I was going to say, yeah, this game is definitely just a throwback to a lot of old school game design choices.
Yeah, and I mean, in some cases there are simplistic choices, but it's also like I was playing through Doom 2, or Doom 1 actually, maybe 18, 19 months ago when I first started working on this, and I was like, this is still fun. Why don't people make things like this anymore?
You know what? It's funny you say that because TB actually had a whole video about that, about how Doom is still fun. You pick up Doom like I think it was about a mod that added a whole bunch of like reload features and new skins.
The brutal Doom.
Yes.
I don't even think you need that for it to still be fun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess it does add in a whole bunch of new things, but like the original Doom, even the way I was playing it, is still really enjoyable. You don't have iron sights, you don't have reload, you don't have... I mean, guess technically you have reload between every shot in some guns, but...
Some, yeah.
Yeah, it still is a really enjoyable experience, just because of the movement and the response of the weapons.
It just has a tight design.
Yeah, it does, which is especially crazy considering how early it was in the genre's existence.
Right.
Memories in 8-bit just took credit for why I have no more free time. And he's right, it's all him. No.
It's all his fault. You haven't played Thief because of him. What a jerk.
Yeah, I still have to go through the install and try it.
Oh god.
I don't even know how to run on my machine. I don't have a very good development machine at all. It's like 5 or 6 years old at this point.
Really?
It runs Tower Guns just fine, but well, not. How old is it actually? 2008 maybe, 2009.
Okay.
So yeah, it's getting there. It's getting up there in age. But I'm not even sure how well it would run Thief. I have to try it and see. If you're looking for a newly made Doomish game, check out Gun Gods. Gun Gods reminded me more of Wolfenstein or Marathon, though. I didn't look at it extensively, but does it actually have like diagonals and like differing heights of ceilings and stuff, or is it more like Marathon or Wolfenstein where it's like the same height rooms? I don't actually know, but it does look cool. And Rami from Glambeer is incredibly nice guy. Seems to be at least.
Awesome.
Sorry, going into these like rants because I answer a question on your.
Hey, no, go for it. I mean, this is your time as much as it is my time. It's actually more.
You've rolled a couple of bosses in a row, then, aren't you?
I know. It seems like the seat has changed. Although it's these guys, which are just a freaking nightmare for me.
You're doing fine. That's a good gun to have against them too.
It is. It is for sure.
Because these guys are like a floor-bound enemy, and that is like a floor-bound gun.
It's just that they're terrifying.
We got a question that says,
Oh!
"Do you have a favorite gun?" I don't have a favorite gun. Well, I do actually have a favorite gun, but I'm not going to say what it is because it's one of the hidden guns.
Interesting.
It's more like Wolfenstein now that I think about it. Still good though. Yeah, it looked more like Wolfenstein, and it did look fun. Okay, I'm caught up on your questions in the comments now.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh, I just saw your death too.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
36 deaths. Wow, you've got quite a few deaths there.
Yeah, not great.
See, when I finished this game, I didn't really know whether or not people were going to play it past like 10 or 11 deaths. I thought they were going to get that far, and I didn't know whether or not they're going to get bored of it by then.
Absolutely not. It's one of those games where I can pick up, play it for about 20 minutes, have a good time, and then either do something else or continue my day.
That's good. That's kind of how I made it. I kind of meant it to be like a, well, lunch break game is what I called it.
Isn't that even in the Steam description for it?
It is.
I feel like
called
it
it
is.
lunch break first-person shooter.
It's perfect. Mission accomplished.
How many guns are there, or you gonna not kiss and tell? I'm not gonna say how many there are because I can't remember.
And I'm also still finding guns, so I can't even give a spoiler on that one.
I cannot remember how many there are in total, actually, because there's some guns that I took out at the last minute because I didn't feel like they were refined enough. Which is pretty funny because the secret guns, I don't refine them very much at all because they're meant to be kind of either jokes or gimmicks or really goofy or strange. But I can't remember. There's a bunch. And some of them you also can't find from random drops.
Oh, so there's some you have to find, like the uber secret room?
You have to do different criteria to get them. I won't say what the criteria is, but people will figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, well, this is the internet. This is the day of the internet. It's not like the days of yore where you had to like know a friend who knew a friend.
I'm actually okay with that though, the days of the internet taking over in this regards, because if somebody's gone through the steps to actually Google how to find something, then they've already definitely played enough of the game that they've gotten their money's worth. At that point,
absolutely,
it's like, let them do whatever they want to have fun.
Sounds like a good way to look at it for sure. So I noticed that the right mouse button also shoots the gun. Was there ever an intention of having like a secondary feature for guns?
It is a alt fire that is exactly the same as your primary fire. No, there was never an intention to include a secondary fire, and the reason for that is because I wanted to keep something that was very straightforward and very. I didn't want you to have to think about which button to hit. I just wanted you to be like, I need to hit the button now.
Need to mash the buttons.
Right. Now that was something Total Biscuit was very critical of, and I can totally see his argument. I feel like whether or not you feel like the combat is adequate entirely depends on the kinds of runs you've had. But I think that he's got a point in that it is, compared to other first-person shooters of the day, it is certainly not as advanced or complicated, I should say, as other games. But I didn't really want it to be. I wanted this to be a kind of a casual, let's say you go months and months and months without playing this game, and then you pick it up again months later. I wanted the game to be the kind of thing where it's like you didn't have to remember how to play or what did what. You just pointed and fired.
It just clicked.
Well, it was just, you didn't have to remember anything because it uses the basic foundation that's in every first-person shooter and just gives you an experience based off of that. Now, that was my opinion at the time. I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit internally, and I'm not sure yet whether or not that was a good decision, but at least that was my thinking when I originally set out and decided not to have alt fire.
Right. And I'm losing my train of thought here.
We got another question from your comments.
Oh, what do we got?
It says, "Hey, DevMan, how many things in this game has your wife influenced, as in like guns or enemies or such?"
Enemies, I think was trying to say.
And I like enemies better though.
Enemies?
Sorry, we're not making fun of you, Star Shimmer. We're just making fun of a typo. Everybody typos. She was pretty influential, but the Hugbots were probably the biggest influence. Hey, let me ask her real quick. Hey, Colleen, what else did you influence? She says she doesn't remember.
It'll be a mystery forever.
There were a couple of things at least that she influenced. But yeah, offhand, I don't know if I'd be able to remember that right now. But she was around and playing it and watching me build it the entire development cycle, so there's no way that she's not in there in some form or another. Not to mention how much I talked about it. She just said that.
Oh, I'm getting all kinds of hugs right now. All the love. Okay, we're done. God, what else could I ask you? What else could we ask you? If you were planning on doing a sequel, would it be more of the same, or would you feel like you would want to take a different direction with it?
Did you steal that question from chat?
No, I did not.
Someone asked that right now.
Did they?
Yeah, like right as you posted it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It really depends on how well the game does. I had a lot of fun working on my own because it let me do crazy things that there's no way you'd be able to take those kinds of risks in bigger studios.
Absolutely.
Simply because you've got more mouths to feed. You know, if you make a big risk, you're a lot more than just your butts on the line. And as an individual developer, I can do stupid things, and the only one to blame is me. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I totally own up to the fact that I'm still learning how to do. I'm still learning a lot about design, still learning a lot about scripting, still learning a lot about even Unreal itself, the engine. So I feel like it would be irresponsible for me to take on a team of people until I felt like I knew more.
Right.
I mean, I may always feel like that though. So, and maybe every person who starts a company feels that way. But
I think so.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still learning. Memories in 8-Bit said, did UDK actually restrict in some ways, whether because or not supported what you wanted or was too complex for your marathon coding? No, it actually helped a ton, because I already knew so much with Unreal because of my days at 38. I was able to really get in and start working pretty quick. I did have to spend a couple of months ramping up on Unreal Script, but I had so much experience with the art tools that the entire artwork for the game was made probably in like, I don't know, 3 weeks. I mean,
nice.
All the artwork really fast. I mean, it kind of looks like it, but at the same time, it's like I needed to focus my time on building the levels because that was going to take so much time, or on doing the scripting because that was going to take even more time than the levels.
To me, the art design almost feels deliberate.
It is deliberate, but it's deliberate because I knew that I could get away with this on my own.
And it flows really well, personally, for what the the game is. Obviously an indie title, so you kind of go in expecting. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that sentence, but it worked out, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, thanks, man. I'm glad that people seem to be responding to it. I just hope that I hope that it does well enough that I'm able to continue doing this for another project.
I would hope so too.
I've had a lot of fun building it, and I mean, I think that if I were to for another project, if I were to expand the team at all, it would probably be like contractor style, where I find somebody I know who's very good at an individual aspect and hire their help for like an hourly base for a couple of weeks or months, and be like, can you help me with this part of the project? I can pay you.
Very cool. What else? What else?
Tour says it's his birthday soon and he got the game for it. Well, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, he made his day.
Deadman, is there a max on every buff you can pick up? There is a max on every buff except for jump upgrades. I wanted you to be able to get as many jump upgrades as you could find.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, there's like, no limit to what you can do with the number of jumps. You can get hundreds of them.
I want to see a run where there's like over, I don't know, 10 jumps with a high.
It's a lot of fun. It's if you find a run like that, it becomes really hilarious.
Would you ever want to do, or find somebody who could make a mod where they could do kind of a Binding of Isaac style cracking it where you could basically just customize what your loadout is right at the get-go?
That would be fun. I don't know. It's a good question. Probably not for the game as it is right now, but I feel like that's the kind of thing that would be fun to work into a follow-up project, you know?
Yeah,
Because I think
later.
that kind of tinkering
Mhm.
is near and dear to this game's heart. Where, you know, the game rewards you exploring and getting yourself stuck in corners and wandering off the map, and like I try and reward the player for doing things like that. And you know, the kind of people who enjoy that are the same kind of people who would enjoy tailoring a run to whatever they want it to be.
Right. So with design choices like that, and kind of, I guess, way of progression in terms of the entire game's lifespan, I kind of base that around Binding of Isaac, and I kind of base this game around that because, I don't know, the Binding of Isaac has kind of a simplistic form to it, but it has also a surprising amount of depth. And I feel like this game kind of falls into that same category of having a surprising amount of depth to it, while being at the same time being simplistic.
I feel like it pales compared to Isaac, which I think is phenomenally well designed, especially considering he made it in like 3 or 4 months. But I appreciate that you even say the name of Tower of Guns in the same sentence as Isaac. That feels very good. Thank you.
That came by very quickly with me.
Because that was an inspiration. Was like taking Isaac and making it combined with the first-person shooter. And I mean, I'm not the first person to think of that, or the only person to think of that kind of combination.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you might be familiar with Paranormal Activity.
Yep, I think they were actually working on the game after I started, but they are so fast, those two guys, that they put their game out before I finished mine.
Yeah.
But I think we were working at the same time on our games. In fact, I know we were working on our games at the same time. And we've actually become buddies on Twitter since
Excellent.
We've announced like there's a bunch of different first-person shooter roguelikes, and the developers have all started following each other on Twitter and posting each other, like giving each other advice. And
it's a kinship, really.
It's been pretty collaborative actually, rather than competitive, because
well, that's good.
the subgenre is not overcrowded yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's Tower Guns, there's Paranormal Activity, there's Fancy Skulls, there's Heavy Bullets, there's Dead Pixels. What else is there? There's one that I'm missing. Rogue Shooter is another one, but I don't know those devs. I don't know the Heavy Bullet dev either, actually. But there's a couple of them now, and it's been pretty nice to see that the developers of those games are cool dudes.
That is good to know. Oh god. This game gets it. There's just moments in this game where you just kind of fall into the seat of your pants. The seat of your pants.
No Dr. Turrets for you. It's always been Mama Spinbot.
And I love Dr. Turret.
Yeah, you're having a Mama Spinbot field day today.
I swear if I restart the game, just close the client entirely and start it back over, I'll get nothing but Dr. Spinbot or every other boss in the game.
Someone just asked if Drunken Robot Pornography was similar. I think it's similar. I haven't played it, but it seems like it's just like Tower of Guns' boss fights maxed out. There's no like levels in that or anything like that. It's like just a boss fight after boss fight after boss fight.
I was gonna say I actually did get when I first picked this game up on Steam, I actually did get it confused for a brief second with Drunken Robot Pornography. I did get it confused for a second, but obviously if you play either, you're gonna pick out the differences. But somehow, I guess it had a vague design similarity, or just like a present.
The Dejabon guys are actually local to my home, to my area. I'm in the Boston area, and they are too. So, and I've met them. I've met at least 1 or 2 of those devs a couple of times, and they seem like cool dudes as well.
Interesting. It's just
Anyway,
funny how.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we should probably finish this up.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. It's been going on for what, an hour? About an hour now.
About an hour and a half, I think. Maybe
Really?
hour 15, I think.
Wow. All right. Well, any final thoughts? Any final words? Not thirds.
Sorry to have to cut it short, but my wife is already ready to go to sleep because you're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, it's what, about 11 o'clock at your time?
It's my computer reads 11:30, but my computer is wrong.
How could that be?
I don't know, because it's supposed to update based off of like, I don't know, whatever time it gets from the
right.
It's supposed to like update based off of the web, but it is wrong. But anyway, though, I apologize for having to cut it short.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. I actually have to take off myself. So good timing.
But I guess I should say if anybody in the chat does want to play the game, they can get it from towerofguns.com, or it's on Steam, or it is on GOG and Humble and Indie Game Stand and Shiny Loot and Gamersgate. And Gamersgate was the last one. Yeah. So it's pretty much everywhere.
And of course, thank you for. I actually wasn't entirely expecting to get a response. Just it was kind of a. I'll see if he responds to me. And I was actually really surprised and super excited when I heard word back from you. So, thank you for being so quick about it.
I enjoy watching people stream the game, and I enjoy being able to talk to them live, because I actually learn a lot by watching you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the more lessons I learn from seeing how people respond to what I make, the better I can make my next project, hopefully.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that.
Thanks very much for having me on, man.
Thank you for coming on. And you, sir, you have yourself a wonderful day.
Thanks. You as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us.
All right. So, guys, we're going to end the stream here. So, you guys take care. Have a good one. And enjoy the rest of your night.